Shalom. First thing and foremost, giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. All right, just through the spirit. It's gonna be quick, and just in regards as the title goes, to be aware of the beast man and his narratives, because that's when it comes to Esau. These Job 9:24s, all right, a part of their sorcery, all right, their trickery, their witchcraft, all right. I just saw this earlier today going into, there's a term for it, the psychological warfare. These Job 9:24s, they like to often use to get the people to feel a certain way, because there's a lot of information coming out with this whole Israel and Hamas. All right, I was watching the video, and I got to be careful, all right, because we are in a time now where it appears that they're taking videos down. And I mentioned this before sometime last week in a video, as far as with this whole situation out there in the so-called Middle East, how don't be surprised, again, because with these Job 9:24s and their narratives, all right. Like I was saying, there's a lot of information coming out, basically how a lot of things are being set up, orchestrated, and one of the many things that have allegedly have come out, I'll say it like that, because, and it's funny, I wanted to post this video. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post it on one of my backup channels, and if they just so happen to take it down, then oh well. But I'm gonna post the video. I'm gonna post this video on my backup channel. Again, for those that don't know, I always leave links in the description for all my other backup channels. I always leave the links in the description. So I'm gonna post this particular video on one of my backup channels, Lord willing, but nevertheless, one of the many narratives that are Salakia, this is in regards to how because again, a lot of things over there in the so-called Middle East is being orchestrated, set up, and one of those things that have been coming out allegedly, I'll say like that, because they're making it seem like these particular group of terrorists. Again, I just want to be mindful of how I word things, how they're just these brute, just murderous savages, just these crazy, just killing everything. And I seen a few things on how you have now, when it comes to this particular nation of people that we can't talk about, all right, the Job 9:24s, I actually saw a few things. It's just crazy. And this is why Esau eventually, he's going to have to come down with that great wrath. He's going to have to shut this internet down, because his spells are wearing off. His witchcraft is wearing off. All right, people are waking up. People are not falling for his bullshit anymore. This is why you have a lot of these protests going on right now, pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, but believe it or not, you have, at least from what I'm seeing, more people are in support of the Palestinians, because listen, people are getting tired of these Job 9:24s and their lies, their rhetorics. All right, people are getting tired of it, and not so coincidentally, some of that rhetoric is coming from their own people. Because again, I saw a few things where a handful of those people over there, with all this narrative and this talk, like I said, with these Hamas guys, just being brute beasts, and they're just murderous and just savages. You actually have some of those people that we can't talk about coming out talking about how, hey, that's, for the most part, that's not true. If anything, a lot of those Hamas soldiers coming over, it's been said again from these people, those people over there themselves, how a lot of those people, they're actually pretty friendly, You see, they were talking about, I saw a video a few videos how, you know, all this talk, man, it's just like, what, that's just not true. And this is coming from them. All right. The top tribe of Esau himself, you know, talking about, again, those people over there in the land, they're coming out. Some of them are coming out about how, listen, that's what they're putting out there. It's not true. These people, yeah, they're coming over here, but some of them, a lot of them they're nice and friendly and cordial, you know. So just, again, just to show you how, when it comes to these Job 924s and their narrative that they like to push, all right, it's a psychological warfare. Because on another note, another thing that's been coming out, all right, you know, and that's for the most part, the gift that the men of the Lord we've been able to see. As a matter of fact, let me get this. Man. Because for the most part, we've been given that sight to see the bigger picture, all right? While everyone is stuck in the moment, and like I said, just the psychological warfare, these Job 924s, they're having it, they're doing certain things, they're pushing these narratives to get people to feel a certain way. Because right now is a you know, it's like this push for people to join sides. You either with Israelis or, you know, Palestinians. What side do you choose? Who you you know, and my little Satan, my demon, my rib. All right, she asked me this last week, because this is the hot topic now, you know, and this is what Esau's pushing. All right, she even asked me, who am I supposed to side with? You know, now we had a whole discussion about it, but nevertheless, just the fact that she asked me that question, all right, like, who am I supposed to be with? Because that's the thing, you know, that's what and your answer, you know, a part of why I wanted to do this video through the Spirit is, and I did a video on this last week as well, as far as just like being circumspect, man, be careful with what you say. And, you know, it's no coincidence that, you know, our spiritual fathers, the Apostle Tahar, man, you know, a while ago he gave the decree that, you know, brothers should delete the Facebook. You know, really, we shouldn't really have none of these social media stuff, but especially when it comes to that Facebook, you know, the order came down, get rid of that Facebook, delete that Facebook, you know, because again, you know, we're in times where we really gotta, you know, be careful, be circumspect. All right, but I'm gonna get this, because before the point slips, I was making the point about this Black Lives Matter movement. All right, you know, and how they're catching a lot of flank right now. You know, they're catching some heat right now because they're basically siding with Palestinians, which again, those Job 924s, all right, with this narrative that they're pushing, that these guys are just, you know, and make no mistake about it, we're not siding with anyone, all right? At the end of the day, neither of those nations belong over there. And it talks about in the book of Amos how, hey, the Lord, because we often get on the destruction as far as America's destruction, all right? But Israel's going to be destroyed too, and our whole era is going to be cleared out too. You know, the only difference is America's not going to be built back up. Israel will be built back up, all right? But nevertheless, the Lord has cleared our whole area out regardless. So we don't side with anyone, all right? None of those nations, they're both fighting for land that doesn't belong to neither one of them, all right? But that's, again, a part of Esau and his narratives, all right? Because, again, going back to this whole Black Lives Movement crap, which just to show you how hypocritical it is, all right? There it is. It's Black Lives Movement, you know, which is no secret that the leaders of this Black Lives Movement they believe in Marxism. And if you don't know about Marxism, look into it. All right, you know, that's no coincidence. I mean, not coincidence, but it's no secret. All right, you know, but they're under some heat right now because, you know, they supposedly, you know, posted some tweet. Basically, they side with the Palestinians. All right, but just to show you how hypocritical it all is, and how sloppy Esau is. Black Lives Matter, that whole movement itself it's created and it's funded by, you know, a particular it's funded by a particular group of individuals that we can't talk about, you know. But here it is, this group, this movement or whatever, they're siding, supposedly they're siding with the Hamas, which again, because the whole point being that, you know, they're making them out to be these terrorists and, you know, and whatnot. All right, you see. So at the end of the day, who do you think at the grand scheme of things? Because again, I'm gonna get this real quick, because again, like I was saying, the prophets we see above and beyond. All right, we see outside the picture. We know game. All right, we know what the game is. We know what the deal is. We know what Esau. We know what these Job 9:24 is, what they're trying to do. So I'm gonna get this in Revelation 3:18. I counsel thee to buy me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So that's the point. We've been given that eye salve. Our eyes have been opened. We've been unplugged from this matrix, man. You know, because these people, man, and especially when it comes to our people, they're just dumb as all hell, man. It's, you know, the Lord saw his children. Jacob's retarded. You know, Jacob's retarded as all hell. You know, that's why the scriptures say the Lord referred to us as sheep, because sheep are so gullible, man. You could walk a sheep right off of a cliff and it won't know it until it's too late. You know, Jacob's just stupid as all hell. But again, the water our eyes have been anointed. We see, all right, and we know what the deal is. We know what Esau's trying to do, man. You know, because going back to this whole Black Lives Movement nonsense, all right, you know, you know, because more and more, it appears, I don't know for sure, but it appears that they're going to use this more and more to basically open that avenue or open that door as far as shutting down the ministry, persecuting the saints, all right, coming down against brothers, making it seem like brothers, you know, are terrorists. And, you know, it appears that that's, you know, they're going to use this because, like I was saying, there's going to be more of a push for you know, Shemitism, all right? You know, there's going to be more crackdowns as far as speaking out against these particular group of individuals. You know, more and more they're going to label us as, you know, threats to the nation, so on and so forth. You know, but hey, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, hey, you know, you devils, you do what you got to do already, all right? And I suspect, just speaking as a man, I suspect that with that being said, you know, because it's pretty much always a sifting season, you know, but it's like the Lord, he really has these cycles where there's really like that spirit of sifting is heavy, you know. And I suspect, again, speaking as a man, this might be one of those times where, you know, as far as that spirit of just sifting, you know, we're coming into a heavy time, because listen, when they really start cracking down on brothers, all right, they got brothers' faces plastered on most wanted posters. And, you know, I believe that a lot of Jake, man, they're not going to be able to deal with that, man. They're not going to be able to put up with that type of heat, you know. As a matter of fact, I want to get this in Matthew 10, but since I'm here, I'm going to get this in Matthew 11. All right. Matthew 11:6. It says, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Because listen, the time is going to come when, you know, even using the names of Yahweh Shai is going to be outlawed, it's going to be banned, you know, you can be locked up, whatever. All right. And again, because I think that a lot of Jake, man, once that time comes, the more and more they push, you know, make it seem like brothers are just the worst, you know, terrorists and all this and that. You know, brothers, Jake, man, there's a lot of Jake that's in the truth now. And this one, you know, I'm talking about all camps in general. All right, because, you know, they're gonna eventually come down on all camps. All right, they're gonna come down on all camps. So, eventually, and on another note, because man, it just makes sense because everyone's coming back in their lots. You know, you got the ancient Pharisees, the ancient Sadducees, those zealots, those ancient Sicaries in them. But you have the prophets as well. You have the prophets as well. And me and brothers were talking about this past Saturday before camp started, like, and this is something that I believe it was the Apostle Tahar. He made the statement a long time ago about how, hey, and I can agree, as far as they really might crack down. It's possible that they could really, start shutting down as far as this, the internet and things of that nature. If brothers start performing miracles, they could really shut the ministry down, and say that where we call us warlocks and witches or whatever. They could really shut this thing down. That's a possibility. All right, because again, all in the name of Yahweh Shema Shai. Again, that's the point. The time is going to come when even using the names of Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be banned. It's going to be outlawed. And we see this in certain places like China, where having Bibles are banned. All right. And going back to what I was saying with how everyone's in there a lot, because these names, Salaki, these camps, they don't push the names, man. They don't push the names. Great Millstone and brothers that follow the affiliate, those that are affiliate with Great Millstone are the only ones that really push the names. The names, man. It just makes sense, Again, looking at things from a more grand perspective. All right. Great Millstone men are really, as far as I know, really the only camp that really pushes. We stress the names. Meanwhile, these other camps, man, they, switching up the doctrine and, still calling on that Christ, Jesus, Most High, blessed, and all that bullshit, man. But that's why I'm gonna read this again in Matthew 11:6. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me, because the time of great offenses is coming. And again, those names, man. Let me get this account in Acts, man. Because this is what reminds me of a lot of these camps now, which it's no secret. A lot of us, we believe that a lot of these camps are sold out. They're bought for, man. They pay for, because listen, it's pretty obvious that these camps, when it comes to a lot of these leaders, they were approached with that bag. Like, listen, you can still teach Israel that they're Israel, just don't push the names. The names. All right. The names, man. You can push, you can teach Israel, whatever. Just stay away from the names. All right. So I'm going to get this in the book of Acts. Acts chapter 5. Because this is the time that we're coming into. All right. Acts chapter 5. I'm going to just start at verse 39. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, lest happily ye be found even to fight against God. And to him they agreed. And when they had called the apostles and beaten them, you see, to a lot of Jakes, are you willing to be persecuted? Are you willing to be beat? I mention this from time to time, with this movie. Damn, I always forget the name. The Unthinkable. All right. It's with Samuel L. Jackson. All right. That's, to me, that's one of the coldest movies. All right. It's one of the hardest movies, toughest movies out there, because movies like that, all right, it just, for me, it just puts me in this certain mind frame, because, just a brief rundown. If you haven't seen a movie, again, it's called Unthinkable, The Unthinkable. And basically, you had this so-called terrorist. He basically had it all planned out, mapped out. All right. In so much that he turned himself in. All right. this so-called terrorist, he turned himself in. He had it all mapped out, what they were going to do to him. And listen, this cat, all right, he went through, they tortured him. All right, they tortured him, but he was ready for it all. He was prepared, you know. But the one thing, and this is why they hired Samuel L. Jackson's character. All right, you know, because the one thing that this so-called terrorist wasn't prepared for, the one thing that got his ass, was they found his wife and his children. All right, that was the one thing that he didn't suspect, you know. And Samuel L. Jackson's character, as much as they tortured his ass, all right, and as much as he didn't want to do it, but, you know, nevertheless, you know, watch the movie. Like I said, it's one of the coldest movies, you know. But they had to find these other bombs that were planted around the city, and it's like, listen, I don't want to do this, but, you know, once he rolled them the wife and them kids in, he's like, man, fuck, you know, like how that was the one thing he didn't suspect, the one thing he didn't plan. Well, that's why they hired Samuel L. Jackson's character, because he was good at what he did. All right, you know, watch the movie, man. All right, but nevertheless, in that movie, it just sticks out to me because, as I was saying, are you prepared to? Are you speaking to myself? All right. Things like that. Are you prepared for brothers that have wives and children? Are you prepared for Esau, you know, to kick in your door? You know, they got you, your rib, your children, your loved ones, handcuffed, zip tied or whatever, duct tape, right? You know, and it's all going to come down to, it's going to be a matter of taking that MOTB. Listen, if you don't take that MOTB, we're going to torture your wife. We're going to torture your children to death until we're going to saw them limb by limb, whatever. All right. You know, well, hey, are you prepared? Are we prepared for stuff like that? Well, the elect are. All right. The elect, the spirit is going to be on them. Listen, man, the Lord's not going to put us through anything that we can't endure. So the Lord is going to make sure that, you know, if we're of that number, we're going to be able to bear whatever it is that these devils bring upon us, man. He's going to make sure of it. All right. Because this is all a part of counting the cost. You see, Jake's not ready. You know, Jake's not ready, man. You see, and that's why I was saying, like, the more and more the crackdowns, man, a lot of Jakes, I believe a lot of Jakes are going to fall out more and more. Brothers going to, you know, brothers that, you know, we see on the cameras, right? Brothers that we fellowship, we talk with and whatnot, we drink it, whatever. We drink it with and whatever. These going to be some of the same. And it's, I'm not going to say it hurts to say, but, you know, we understand at the end of the day, this is all business, all right? It's business, you know? And this is, hey, a lot of these brothers that we fellowship with and whatnot, believe it or not, hey, these are going to be, some of these brothers aren't going to make it. All right. Some of these brothers, listen, some of these guys are in the camps. Listen, the apostles, they talked about this before, time in and time out, how, hey, you know, most of these camps, man, there's spies, there's agents, provocateurs, and, you know, some of these guys ain't right. You know, we get on these other camps, but listen, the Apostle Tahar, and that's the thing with the apostles, all right, especially when it comes to the Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, the apostles, you know, when guys from these other camps they spew madness, they say some dumb shit, the apostles, they don't get mad, but you see the apostles turn up, you see that spirit gets fire in them, it gets fired up when brothers from Great Millstone are going off. That's when you see the apostles get fired up. All right, when brothers from the camps are going off, saying stupid shit, you know, breaking down certain things wrong and whatnot. That's when you see the apostles get fired up. Because again, you know, brothers get on these other camps, but, and it's not to say that all brothers in Great Millstone are going to make it. No, a lot of again, the apostles, Apostle Tahar says it all the time. Like, man, a lot of niggas in Great Millstone aren't right, and the Lord's going to get these niggas, whoever they are, you know. But hey, the more and more that you know, that the heat comes down, man, hey, a lot of jigs gonna fall out, man. You know, going back to this in the book of Acts chapter 5, verse 40, it says, and to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them. So going back to what I was saying earlier, are you prepared to get beat? All right, are you prepared to see your faces? our faces plastered on America's Most Wanted, you know, people turning us in, right? And like I was mentioning with the movie, The Unthinkable. Are you prepared to see your wife and children, you know, getting tortured? Are we ready for these things? You know, it says they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahushua and let them go. Let them go. So you see, the time is gonna come when they, you know, speaking the names, teaching in the names, prophesying in the names. All right, the names for a lot of these camps that, you know, you can call the name of the name of the Lord or whatever you want. He has many names. And no, man. All right, you see, the names are important. And Esau, he's gonna drop that hammer. All right. And, you know, the preceding events, you know, just going back to what I was saying, as far as all these events taking place with these narratives, Esau, these Job 24s, their narratives that they like to push, you know, setting painting that picture for terrorists. And, you know, well, listen, believe it or not, real soon, somehow, some way, however this plays out, you know, they're gonna make us seem like the worst of the worst. They're gonna make us look worse than you know, or Obama's not Obama, what's this guy's name? Osama bin Laden and them. They're gonna make us look worse than that, man. 100 times worse than that. You know, something's gonna happen and they're gonna blame us. All right, they're gonna blame the ministry and they're gonna come down, and like I said, man, this is gonna make it seem like we are just the worst of the worst of the worst. You know, with whatever type of attack takes place, whatever happens, man, listen, people are going to be wishing that they're going to be looking back on, you know, that September event and back in 2001. You know, people are going to be looking back on that and reminiscing, man, like, damn, you know, something's going to happen out here, man. And nevertheless, they're going to blame us, brothers, starting with the apostles and all the faithful men of Yahweh Shema Shalom down, man. You know, so get ready. All right, get ready, man. You see, hell, back in what was that, 2021? You know, when they had it on, you know, certain mainstream media outlets, the names of Yahushua's coming back. You know, and certain of these attacks, you know, you have some Negroes, you know, attack some, you know, Amalekite synagogue or whatever, restaurant or whatever. You know, you had another situation where some bug out, he was like a, what do you call those in-home nurses or whatever, I don't know, he was some type of health care aide, whatever. All right. And yeah, I think they got him on camera beating the elderly man. You know, and the narrative that they pushed was because he was screaming blacks are the real, you know, people of God, or some shit like that. So it's just stuff like that. All this is all this is an accumulation. Because, hey, listen, I'm gonna get this. All going back to those narratives, man. All right, Esau, these Job 24s and their narratives, right? Revelation 12:10, and I heard a voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. So that's the point, the accuser, all right? You know, the accuser, man, you know. Esau, he puts pork in everything, you know. Brothers, we were talking about this just last night about just how there's pork in everything, you know. And this is why we need deliverance. This is why we need salvation. You know, salvation, you know, we need to be delivered from the enemy's hand. All right, that's what salvation is, being delivered from your enemies, you know, because this devil he makes it impossible for us to you know, serve Yahweh Shema Shai. And he accuses us before Yahweh Shema Shai, like, you know. So he's the accuser. He's in, even more so when things start happening, you know, whatever, however it plays out, all right. you know, it might be because in the apostles, they said this years ago about, hey, I believe it was Apostle Gabar, you know, a long time ago about how, hey, there's going to be another event that's going to take place that's going to trump that event that took place in September 2001, man. You know, something much more, like I said, something's going to happen, and it's going to make people look back on September 2001 and reminisce, man. You know, but guess who they're going to blame? All right, because there always has to be some type of face of terror. You know, there always has to be a face of terror. Esau, he tried it back in 2020, 2021, you know, with this whole Maxine Waters campaign, that Capri Sun. All right. You know, they were trying to do it back then. They were trying to say, you know, and and I quote, all right, I quote, blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, unquote. All right, they're the most vulnerable. Basically, they were painting this narrative that it's because of them. This is why this thing is spreading, and this is why we can't open back up. We can't get back to you know, so-called normal until, I again quote, blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, unquote. All right, until they get that, take that thing, you know, basically blaming us, blaming the Israelites. You see? And this is one of many examples, but it all goes back to his narratives. That's the point. All right, his narratives, man. You see, so somehow, some way, they're gonna tie, you know, us into that the DT. All right, you know, terror from within this nation, man. Somehow they're gonna tie us into all this, you know. And before it slips, I'm gonna go back to this in Matthew 10. I read Matthew 11 because again it said, how, hey, blessed is he that is not offended in me, because, hey, offenses are coming. Offenses are coming. Listen, a lot of, you know, our dearly beloved ones, all right, mothers, fathers, parents, sisters, children, wives. Listen, people are gonna be turning us in, looking at us funny. People are gonna be ratting us out, whatever. All right, are you gonna get offended? Offenses are coming, you know, and it's gonna hurt, you know, because it's like, damn, you know, it's, you know, it's supposed to be my rib, man. She turned me in. She went down there to that station and got her and the kids took the MOTB, and they ratted me out, man. Like, damn, it's gonna hurt. But what are you gonna do? So now I'm gonna go to Matthew chapter 10. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 16. The point is in 17. I'm gonna start at 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So again, as I was mentioning earlier, be careful, be circumspect. You know, people more and more, they're gonna start asking you, who you siding with? All right. And brothers have been talking about this, about how, hey, even when it comes to the camps, you know, you're gonna have more agent provocateurs. You're gonna have more people trying to come up, start some shit. All right, to do anything to cause us to act out of character, and that way they can blame the ministry. And that's why, again, going back to some of these other camps, a lot of these other camps, they're set up, man. All right, because, you know, like the new thing with Israel as of recently, these fights with IUCPK and IUIC, they're gonna use that to blame all of us. You know, they're gonna use stuff like that to link us all up and say we're all crazy, we're all extremists, we're all violent. You know, that's why I mentioned the example with the Black Lives Movement, man, and how they're catching heat because they're coming out and supporting Hamas, which again, in their Esau's narrative, according to his narratives, Hamas and them, they're terrorists. All right, they're just some bloodthirsty, crazy, you know. But yet, Black Hebrew, we'll see, Black Lives Matter. All right, you know, they're supporting them, and that's why we'll say we're not black, man. You know, we're not black, but it don't matter because these Job 924s, they're gonna use that narrative. You see, they're all gonna link us into this category of terror. All right, they're gonna make it all come together somehow, some way, shape, form, or fashion, and make it seem like, you see, these guys, man, we gotta do something about these guys, man. These guys, man, they're extremists, right? So Matthew 10 and 17, it says, but beware of men, For they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. So you see, man, listen, some brothers are going to get taken up. And listen, our apostles, you know, they give the testimony from time to time about how, hey, going back to that whole situation in September 2001, they got arrested, you know. But they're going to say, hey, man, they're going to say how they laugh, because it's just like, they know they didn't do nothing, you know. They know they had nothing to do with that. But you know, Lord willing, we use that to our, it's a faith booster to us, because listen, things are going to be happening. Esau, he's more and more, he's going to paint his narrative, and brothers are going to be blamed. All right. And, you know, listen, they're going to have our faces on the news channels, and, you know, you hear about people that so-called speak out against the so-called Illuminati, right? And how they get followed, you know, they get the phone tapped, and you know, they got the unmarked vehicles. They see the unmarked vehicles outside the homes. That's getting ready to be our reality real soon. All right, that's getting ready to happen to us. Don't be surprised. You know, hey, you know, you're out and about, and your wife calls you up like, yeah, you know, I got people following me. You know, don't be surprised, man. You know, you hear that little click when you're talking to certain brothers. You know, you hear that little click on your phone. Listen, all of our phones are being tapped, man. They listen to everything that we say. They these devils, it's just a matter of the right timing to make their moves. They're already listening to our phone calls and text messages. They look through our browser history. We know this. It's not a surprise. But somehow, some way, they're gonna, you know, conjure up some narrative, all right, some story, some concoction. Like, they're gonna distort our voices and, you know, make it seem like we were plotting to, you know, blow up the White House or something. And I'm slacking. I probably shouldn't even said that, but you know, they're gonna constort some story of us plotting to do something, man. And it's just like, really, man, that's the best you got. So don't be surprised, all right? You know, we're gonna be taken up to these courthouses, and certain brothers are gonna be taken up, and you know, explain this and this. And that's why when you read verse 19, it says, and he shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. So I mean, you know, the Lord's going to have it to where, listen, you know, you might get caught up, but fret not, because, hey, the Lord, you know, for brothers, man, you know, the Lord, he has a specific message for whoever's in that courtroom, the judge and all the people. And listen, the all the people in that courtroom, all right, listen, the Lord, he's going to use you to just to deliver a message to all those cats, man. You know, so fret not, all right? Fret not, man. We've already been told that, hey, some of us are going to get locked up, falsely accused, persecuted. Again, Matthew 11, blessed is him that is he that is not offended in me. Offenses are coming. Offenses are coming. And Esau with his narratives, man. Listen, he's got the deep fakes and all that. Don't be surprised, man. You know, I'm not speaking to myself. You know, but me personally, I don't care, man. It's like, y'all do what y'all gotta do. Y'all kicking the can down the road. Do what y'all gotta do already. You know, I don't give a shit. You know, do what y'all gotta do. All right. You know, but that's just the faith of the hopeful elect, man. Like, man, we don't care. Just come on with it. Hurry up. That's why, hey, listen, pray that, hey, Lord willing, you know, with these situations more and more, you know, these things are coming about, man. Just pray that the Lord doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal, man. Just pray that the Lord doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal, man. You know, because again, this could very well be that avenue that these Job 924s use to blame brothers, to blame the ministry, to come down, make us look like we're terrorists and extremists and violence and all this other stuff. Hurry up with it, man. You know, because again, hey, we see, all right. I'm gonna go back to that Revelation 3. Because what is eye salve, right? You ever driving in the night, right? And you see those little glowing eyes, right? That's what gives those animals the ability to see in the dark. You know, that's that special oil in the back of the eye gland, I think it is, right? You know, like I said, when you're in the nighttime and you see those eyes looking back at you, you see those glowing eyes, you know. Revelation 3:18 again. I counsel thee to buy me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So you see, we see beyond Esau's bullshit. We see beyond all his, you know, the scripture said there's no enchantment that shall work against Jacob, roughly paraphrasing. You see the elect, listen, hopefully elect, we're not gonna fall for this Esau and his antics, man. We're not gonna fall for none of this bullshit. You know, again, we're not trapped in this matrix. All right. The Lord unplugged us from this matrix, man. You know, like we see beyond this. We see above this shit. You know, if anything, brothers is calling when it comes to Esau's game plan, because again, I did the video yesterday, like Esau, he thinks he's in control. This is all Yahweh Shemel Shai. You see? So if anything, hey, brothers be calling Esau out on what he's gonna do before he does it. All right? Because again, we're above this. We see beyond all this, man. Brothers have been given that special ability, that anointing. Our eyes have been opened, and we can see in the dark. All right, that eye self. All right. Again, you know, take into consideration when you're in the dark, you're driving on a highway or whatever, and you see those glowing eyes. That's what that is. That's that eye self. That's that special oil that gives you the ability to see in the dark. And we've been given that special ability. All right, we've been given that anointing. You know, Lord willing, what that number. We can see beyond all this shit, man. We can see, man, this, you know, Esau, his spells and his witchcrafts, and that shit don't work on the hopefully elect, man. We're not going to be deceived. All right, we are not deceived. You see, but meanwhile, these people, man, they're just, you know, they look at CNN and Fox News and just, oh, man, this is just the holy grail, man, whatever, man. You know, but that's all. That's a part of Esau, these Job 924s. That's all. It's all a part of his game, all right? You know, his narratives, his deceptions, and, you know, the scripture say is on his tongue is full of deceits, man. You know, this is, you know, but the elect aren't going to get deceived. The elect aren't going to fall for the shit, man, you know, so be aware, all right? You know, again, just be circumspect, be careful, all right? You know, yeah, man, just be on high alert, you know, while the nation is, you know, is on high alert because, you know, supposedly these Hamas terrorists or whatever, man, they're gonna supposedly they're plotting an attack, you know, on American soil. So the nation's on high alert, all right. But hey, well, hell, we're on high alert, all right. You know, we're on high alert because we understand the times that we're in. All right, we know and understand the times that we're in. That's why the Spirit had me read that in Matthew. Hey, be wise as serpents, harmless as doves, man. Be careful, be circumspect. You know, you don't have to, just because you're in the grocery store and people asking you questions, and for one, it doesn't mean you have to engage. All right, but you know, secondly, you don't have to, you know, tell this truth to everyone, man. Quite frankly, these people, and that's why we have to discern. All right, because quite frankly, these people, majority of these people, they don't deserve the truth. They don't need it's, you know, it's not for them. Now, you talking to particular individuals, you know, you pick their brain, read their spirit and whatnot, but you know, at the end of the day, everyone doesn't need to know this truth. All right, you know, if anything, this truth is for the small. It's not for the masses. It's for the, you know, it's not for the mass of these people. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. All praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. Lord willing, get to the next one.